Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. My name is Khalid Muhammad Ariff from Sekitar Synergies near Berhad. Uh, and I'm blessed to live until this day, 10th of Rabiul Akhir 1442, which is, today's 27th of November 2020. Thank you, YouTube, especially the relentless team of YouTube staff. Thank you very much for this platform, and especially the creator and inventor of YouTube. Actually, I've never met them. Anyway, thank you, all subscribers, viewers, and supporters of this channel. And I really hope that you are able to understand and benefit from what you have here. And please share this video to those whom you know might need to know this, as not the ultimate base of knowledge, but references probably. Okay, and especially share it with your if you're working in this organization involving in tunnel boring in this case, or any other activities as far as environmental management is concerned. Please share this video to perhaps the steering committee of ISO 14001 EMS, or perhaps integrated 14,001, 18,001, 9,001, and the rest. Okay, you could share it with the management team as well, the committee, the environmental personnel who are working in activities that they might need to know all this, and perhaps environmental auditors and consultants. This may be an additional reference for consultants whom are already established expertise in this. I am just an environmental consultant, auditor, and trainer in environmental management and sciences for what? Since 1986, when I first got myself indulged in environmental management, law, and sciences. So please share this small bit of what I know, and hopefully it benefit everybody else. Now, my reminder, conventionally, please, to all Muslims, especially if you are in a mosque or attending some religious classes elsewhere or anywhere else in the world, please do not watch my video, especially during the Friday prayers khutbah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. This video, I'm going to bring our attention to the one of the activity, which is tunnel boring, as you could see written in the slide. Tunnel boring apparently is very popular, and in fact, in many ways, I could see it is quite environmental, well, highly regarded in terms of an environment, and they, despite the fact that it is actually changing some geological structures, but it is well, or what they call well organized, with the latest technologies and a lot of engineering involved. It is well organized. I have salute to the engineers and all the project managers of tunnel boring activity. We're going to take a look at that activity in this video. I am going to share with you as far as environmental management system is concerned, this process that you see here, the word input and output, it's one of the process used to identify our environmental aspects involved in our respective unit processes or activity. So I will show you where is this step is as far as implementing the ISO 14001 version 2015. Where does it located in the chronology of the implementation? We'll take a look, and then we'll show you an example of the input-output analysis for tunnel boring, and then, as I promised, I have reworked the environmental aspects impact register for you. It's not the ultimate, it's not the best. I believe your consultants may be able to come up with something similar or better, okay? But this is just a guide for you to understand how important is it to have a good format of the environmental aspects impact register, so that we won't go wrong or astray in the path of our environmental management endeavor. Okay, now let's take a look at this one. This is representing what is, I would call, the chronology, the summarized chronology of the establishment of ISO 14001 environmental management system. Now, we have to understand our organization very well, and please refer to the standards, and please refer to your respective trainees and consultants for ISO 14001, and let them brief you on the part of context of organization and other elements. Okay, but I am showing you we are here. The input-output analysis, where we have to identify our environmental aspect, is here. Remember, environmental management system is managing environmental aspect. How? By virtue of compliance obligation. Compliance obligation to who? All those interested parties that is linked to us, from our supplier to our client, vendors, etc., governments, unions, etc. Now, I'm going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that because it is lengthy. And then once we have identified our environmental aspects, it is good for us to evaluate, to determine which environmental aspects require more urgent attention, which environmental aspects need perhaps some special what they call methodology of management, which environmental aspects may have caused some losses in businesses, and all these are from our activities. So we got to evaluate in terms of a few evaluation criteria, which I will show you shortly. In fact, the last slide, some examples. Now, at the same time, not only the environmental aspect is crucially important for us to identify, but also those aspects has got potential risk and opportunity for us to manage. There could be some associated risk to that aspect, or to that activity, or to those equipment that involves those environmental aspects. So there could be some risk in perhaps the methodology of operation. There could be a risk with respect to the environmental aspect itself. It has got to be addressed, because ISO 14000 say not just compliance obligation, but address risk and opportunity. So we got to look at also opportunity. What can we do? Should we change the raw mats, or should we change the process mechanism to improve? What? How could we go forward? Going forward means not just going forward bluntly, but going forward in the sense of, look, environmental performance. Going forward in terms of fulfilling compliance obligation, and going forward in terms of achieving what we have set. And this is what is termed as intended outcome for the overall outlook. I would say overall purpose of environmental management system is the intended outcome, which is decided after we have identified all our environmental aspects. And once we have identified all our environmental aspects, it is from the nature and type and the severity of our environmental aspects and the magnitude of our environmental aspect. Only then, from that list of environmental aspects, we develop everything, we put everything together and we compile them in an environmental aspects register. And then you got to sit down with the top management thinking what should be your policy, environmental policy, in order for you to represent your company. The environmental policy has got to be related to the environmental aspects. Uh, I have done some audits and I've been auditing a few companies, and there were one time I was auditing a palm oil mill factory, certified 14001, but when I look at the policy, it sounds like an electronic company. Don't do that, okay? No cut and paste, my friend. No cut and paste. You've got to have integrity in the work. Your consultants, your trainer have done a good job. So you got to, if you don't know anything, ask your consultant and trainers, okay? Let them help you. And also from the policy and from the register of an environmental aspect, we start to develop our objective because we know what we can achieve. Okay? All right, there are a few other discussions. We'll come to that. And with this objective, we formulate our action plan. Planning to achieve, not just environmental management program. You know that you can achieve, and when it comes to surveillance audit, you adjust your environmental management program by making amendments in the target dates and etc. And these are all within my fingertips. Don't do that, okay? You're jeopardizing yourself and your company actually. All right, now this is where we are as far as environmental aspect identification is. The input-output analysis is the purpose of this video, and to show you the register, this dashboard I used to call it. Okay, now let's take a look. This is okay, right. I am not the expert in tunnel boring machine, and I am not the expert in civil engineering, etc. I am just a consultant for the environmental management. I am doing this based on my 36 years of experience, including being with a construction company. That is all. I'm not the expert. But if you look for environmental management, how to manage all this, I may be able to help. I am not the consultant. Okay. Now, your engineers, your project managers, your construction managers, your project planners, the technicians, engineers, supervisors here, all the SHOs, especially industrial hygienists, they are the experts, not me. Now, this is the input-output analysis. Remember, environmental management system says that we have to manage all these environmental aspects by fulfilling compliance obligation and addressing risk and opportunities. So first thing first, environmental aspects. How? So this is an activity in order to determine the environmental aspects based on mechanical engineering mass balance. This is one of the best method that I've seen. And in fact, I'm practicing it actually. That we have got to identify the input environmental aspects and the output environmental aspect. Why? Because they all interact with the environment. Remember? Definition of environmental aspects, element or part of organizational product, services, activities, blah, 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 that interacts or can interact with the environment. It's the interaction of these environmental aspects that with the environment that would eventually cause environmental impact. So we are concerned with the environmental aspect. We got to manage all these environmental aspects by virtue of controlling the operation so that the subsequent potential environmental impact is reduced or minimized or eliminated. Good for the environment. So that's what we're going to do. First of all, for input environmental aspect, we can identify them, meaning what comes into the process. But what would be its environmental impact? Since it is an input environmental aspect, this is calling for life cycle assessment. We got to look at this environmental aspect from its life cycle perspective. But since it is an input, we are going to look at the upstream of its life cycle perspective, meaning where does it come from? So for instance, TBM machine is the whole machine itself is made of something. TBM is made from what? Metals, concrete, cement, what? Plastic, rubber. All these materials are from the natural resource. So the more demand for TBM machine, the more that we have got to extract metals, oil and gas for plastic and rubber, and for the machines that process used to fuel the motors or engines to process all these metal furnaces. So it all comes from natural resources. The more demand for natural resources, then it will cause eventually an environmental impact known to environmental ecologists or environmental management experts as resource depletion. We extract those resources, metals, be it oil, from the earth, but we have not replaced them. Okay, so those resources are getting less and less and less, and that causes environmental resource depletion. Nonetheless, that is input. So that is how the production of a tunnel boring machine, the parts and everything, has interacted with the environment and causing resource depletion. That is why the TBM machine itself is an environmental aspect. Now, once it is in operation, nonetheless, once it is in operation, even during installation, I've seen that there are some accidents or incidents that some of these TBM parts might, the small items might be broken, or even during operation, there could be some service and repair, and the output from the operation would generate a few other environmental aspects, like I sum them all together, used TBM parts. The part names are known best to the TBM engineers. Okay, you know what it is and what they made of. And when I look around and I saw some of the materials, most of them I don't even know what they are called, but most of them are metals and plastic and special rubber dampener and all these, and these are all extracted from natural resources. Therefore, they are used as used TBM parts. Some of them are good, they are recycled, but now let's talk about some of the used TBM parts which are not recyclable, which are being disposed. So used TBM parts are output aspects. How does it interact with the environment? So we got to ask the question, where does it go after that? That will be the line is the flow of event would be downstream from its life cycle perspective. What happened to it? Then it goes to perhaps a big waste skip, which is being collected by municipal A municipal garbage collector if they are just general waste, but if they are scheduled waste, then it has got to be, or hazardous waste, then collected for some special management. For instance, in this country, we call it scheduled waste, and eventually it will be sent to perhaps some what we call here in Malaysia prescribed premises. It might go into a secure landfill, or the other non-scheduled waste used TBM parts might go to perhaps municipal landfill, thereby causing an interaction with the environment by virtue of interacting with the ground soil of the landfill, and that would cause soil contamination. So that would be the environmental impact eventually for used TBM parts, at least for this type. Okay, I won't be discussing the rest. You can read this, you can think, and if you got any comments or suggestion, please be kind enough to write your comments below. Okay, in under this video, there's YouTube has provided a place for you to comment. I will welcome that. And also, let's take a look at one thing. Aim, yeah, this is good. Tunnel lining. Output. Once the segment is inserted, there you are as input. Of course, the segment is made from cement, causing the source of the segments are from natural resources, causing resource depletion. But the output of this process is the tunnel lining, which has been laid for the strength of the tunnel. Consult civil engineer. Apparently, the modern lining that I have witnessed so far, they are well constructed, well planned. Even the grouting is good. They've got a few varieties of techniques in grouting those cracks, above the tunnel ceiling and all this. But the lining apparently is intact. And I believe that tunnel lining would improve the strength of that whole tunnel. Before, it was just perhaps a hill which may have some hollow cracks or fracture that water moves, but with the tunnel, it's like reinforcing the strength of that particular hill. I'm not sure. Geologists, please give an input, because it is well engineered, and I would say the strength is good, unless you have got natural occurrences like earthquake. No, my knowledge is not up to there. Okay, so some experts may like to put in something comments about it. Now that would cause, when you have got the tunnel, even maintenance and repair, I try to look for reports and contact people. Well, it's just minimal tunnel lining repair. In fact, it doesn't amount to changing the lining so far that I know of. But if there is change in lining, please let me know in the comments so that I can include that. I have not seen so far reports that in a normal operation of a tunnel, we got to change the entire segment, the whole piece of segment. I've not seen that. So for that, I think it's good. Once the tunnel lining is placed with all the segments, the segments seems to be staying there forever. And there is no new replacement for segment, no need for new segment for the existing tunnel. Thereby, I believe this is some form of natural resource conservation. Unlike cars, unlike tire that you got to replace, see the difference? But this tunnel lining seems to be there. So that amazed me, at least for this day. If I'm wrong, apologize, but please correct me. Okay, that's about it. I'm not going to discuss everything. This video is going to be lengthy then, but this is the concept of input-output analysis. I hope you're able to follow, especially if you are revising your input-output analysis or you are about to begin implementing ISO 14001. Please remember, this would help you because this is the heart of the process in implementing ISO 14001. Do not begin your EMS ISO 14001 by constructing your environmental policy first. That is not the way. Understand your organization, know all your environmental aspects, know where your gap is, then create a policy. Okay, then you should be there. Just talking based on experience. ISO doesn't say that. Okay, but this is just based on experience. Now, this is my dashboard. I love this so much. I love this, but it is a meticulous work, and you won't like me for this. I'm not surprised. It is meticulous, but we do it only one time. So, what have we here? These are all the important columns that we need to have. Please begin with this: activity, process, or even equipment. If some of the household process, they use the equipment, like instead of steam generation, people call it boiler. Boiler is an equipment. It is an environmental aspect, but it has been a household industrial word for steam generation. They don't call it steam generation or steam generating. Instead, they call it boiler. Never mind. I hope you know what you are doing and you understood what that means. Okay, now the tunnel boring is here. Okay, that's the activity. So we just pick three aspects. I don't have much space. The environmental aspect that we chose, I mean this is at random, okay, is TBM machine. There you are. So what's the impact? Resource depletion is over here. People, when we look TBM machine, we didn't say used TBM machine. It's TBM machine. It has got to be input. But used TBM machine or kaputted TBM machine, or perhaps used or spent or defected parts of TBM machine, those are output. I hope that is understandable. So we have got an array of environmental aspects, impact evaluation criteria. This is where the bulk of the effort is. Developing the criteria and its respective rating. Now, I'm not going to discuss it here, but if you want me to discuss it, please write in your comment. I am glad to share it. But remember, please consult your respective consultant and trainer. If they already have a system, it has been proven good, carry on with it. Okay, this is just an optional, just to perhaps another chapter, another novel that you read. Okay, it's just another article that you read in the form of video, just to enhance something, and perhaps from watching this video something might come to your mind apart from what I've discussed, and that might be benefiting yourself and your company. So these are all the evaluation criteria. I'm not going to discuss it, but what I'm going to, the attention that I want you to look at is, to pay is here. See, risk and opportunity. It is written clearly, vividly in your environmental aspects impact register. With that, it's easier to manage because it is from here that you may like to form what you call as, all this we can develop our respective objective and targets. Objectives, and also it used to be called environmental management program. Now it is planning actions to achieve. Don't forget the word to achieve. Meaning, once we have set our objective, once we have laid down actions to achieve, actions to achieve can be not just who, do, what, when, how, and why, and how much. Finance. Please remember, in your planning actions, please include finance. It might be involved. Who, do, what, when, and how much does it cost? The finance could be money, or finance could be man days. And the word is planning actions to achieve, meaning make sure the objective, make sure the planning, the target that you have is achievable, not just something that sounds so good in your document. All auditors are impressed. Even the headquarters or the stakeholders are so proud of you because you make such a good planning actions, which sound like the company is the environmental greenest of the green organization. You don't fool auditors anymore now, okay? And and you don't fool certification bodies and even the accreditation bodies. And by far, they're all reporting to ISO, so they know the problem and they know how you go about to get certification. So that is why I say, if you want to go for certification, make it realistic. You got to be honest. What have you got and what can you get? Okay, so this is what it is. And also I would like to share with you that in my dashboard I have this environmental performance report in the form of management performance index, operational performance index, and also environmental conditions index. We placed it in the dashboard so that when auditors come, there you are, or your top management wants to know what have we, there you are, because this environmental performance, we do evaluate it. It's supposed to be once a year, but in my case, I would do it every quarter. So this environmental performance indicator would change every quarter. We monitor. So it's a bit tedious work. It's only when you got the resources, when you have got some dedicated environmental engineers and managers doing it, yes. If you don't have those personnel who's got to do all the come work, will be a great challenge. It is life, isn't it? Life is full of challenge. We love challenge, and with challenge we learn more and make what we are. Without challenge, we don't have much experience and much knowledge with it. So I believe the viewers of these videos have gone through all sorts of challenges in life, especially in establishing environmental management system and sustaining the certification. Okay, so this is the best I could do for this video this time. I thank you for your attention. YouTube, I love you. Thank you very much. All my honorable subscribers and viewers, I wish all of you in Bahasa Melayu semoga dikurniakan kesenangan, keselamatan, kesejahteraan, kebahagiaan, dan kejayaan kehidupan di dunia dan di akhirat. If you're a non-Malay or non-Malaysian, get someone to translate that for you. It's a beautiful wish and a very holistic wish. And as a Muslim, I wish everyone, whoever you are, wherever you are, what hair color have you, or what skin color have you, or what eye color have you, what waistline have you, what height have you, doesn't matter to me. This is all about love of humanity. We are coexisting in this environment, and this is just my part in contributing to all of us. Before I pass, all right, so I wish everybody, until we meet in the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.